Hello, and welcome to the Ilene Silverman Show. I'm your host, Ilene, and on this week's program, our guests discuss guardian angels, medical service dogs, and how, through the process of trained service dogs, they can provide independence to so many and save lives. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Thanks for joining us for our program. On Sunday, February 11th, you have the opportunity to attend For the Love of Dogs and Chocolate, a fundraiser to benefit Guardian Angels, medical service dogs. To tell us more, I'm pleased to introduce my guest, Carol Borden, founder and CEO of Guardian Angels Medical Service Dogs. And it's wonderful to have you here, Carol.
Well, thank you for having us. We appreciate it.
Well, you know, I've heard of Guardian Angels Medical Service Dogs for several years. Knew you were out there in Williston, Florida. Never had the chance to really, find out more about what you do. But now that I've had that opportunity, I gotta say, congratulations. You're doing wonderful things.
Thank you.
It is awesome.
You're passionate.
I can tell everyone involved with your organization is. And kind of just give us in a nutshell, what is your organization before we talk about everything else?
Well, we're a nonprofit, a public charity, and we raise, train, and donate very highly skilled medical service dogs that actually mitigate the challenges that someone would have that has a disability.
Well, and how'd you get started into all of this?
Well, I think I said doggy before I said daddy, and I've been in dogs my entire life. I've been training over 53 years. And the other part of my life where I was supposed to be the professional that mom and dad wanted me to be, I used to manage big box stores. But
Wow.
in chasing my calling, I was able to put those two things together, and so the rest is history. I started our own nonprofit where we could actually see the dogs at their full potential and be able to help give people their life back.
Which is what you were doing successfully. But there is a wonderful story that I have read about on your great website with a lot of testimonials that really tug at the heartstrings. So tell me about the very beginning with Sam and his dog Bessie.
Yes. Well, I was always doing obedience classes for the general public. And people started coming to me for obedience, but sometimes they had some disability, so I'd teach their dog a little something extra that would help them at home with whatever that might be. And then one day I had a young man come to me who was a quadriplegic. Great kid. He was the football star of their homecoming game. And in a fraction of a second, one tackle went bad and left him in a wheelchair forever. But this young man had a lot of tenacity, and he still wanted to live independently. And he had a dog that was totally out of control because he was unable to give it any kind of obedience training whatsoever. So he came to me, and I did start training the dog. It was a very intelligent dog. And long story short, it was the first full mobility dog that I had ever trained. I said, oh my gosh, I can do so much more to help this young man.
Right.
And so we did. And the dog then was able to help him transfer from his wheelchair to his bed or his shower, or would pick up dropped items or open the door for him.
It's incredible. A sense of independence again.
Yes, absolutely.
And now you have multiplied the story of Sam about how many times over in these years you've been training dogs?
Well, we have well over 200 teams that we've paired and are working across the country now.
That is pretty phenomenal. And so while you're in Williston, you've got dog training, you're training medical service dogs all over. And just explain, what is the difference between a medical service dog and a therapy dog or a guide dog?
Excellent question. Well, a guide dog is also another type of service dog because they are performing a service. They're very specialized. So most of the guide dog organizations, that's what they do. So we do everything else.
Okay.
A therapy dog are wonderful dogs that go into hospitals and nursing homes, and they bring them lots of sunshine. They can pet them, play with them for a few hours. But at the end of the day, the dog doesn't have any specific skills, is not working for a specific person, and goes home with their mom and dad at the end of the day. A service dog, however, by law, must have a set of skills specific to that individual to mitigate the challenges of their disability.
Okay, so that is the difference. And we're about to take a quick break, but it's just unbelievable to me when I've been learning about all that a service dog of this nature can accomplish for somebody and the people that you have reached and are reaching out to. And I don't want to take a quick break without your introducing Huey, who you have brought at my request, who is one of your number one trained medical service dogs and is just, ready for whatever help someone might need.
Well, Huey's doing exactly what a service dog should be doing when they're not on task. They're being invisible. So he's practicing being invisible right now.
Right.
But if I needed him, if I suddenly was going to have a seizure or I had a blood chemistry change that was going to create some catastrophic problem within myself, he would immediately be alerting before that ever happened, before I knew or you knew that was going to happen. He also can do full mobility work, so if I drop something or need to turn on the lights or something like that, he can do any of those tasks.
He can do that.
Yes.
Oh, I am very impressed, and we have a lot more to cover. We're going to take a quick break. Stay with us. We'll be right back. We're back talking about Guardian Angels medical service dogs. And Carol, I want to make sure we say, first of all, that you're a nonprofit organization and that there is no charge at all for a service dog.
That's correct.
And that's just incredible.
It costs us about $25,000 to take these dogs from start to finish, but we donate every one of them.
And about how long does it take to train a dog, more or less, on an average?
It depends on the number of skills that they're having to learn, because we deal with a lot of people that have multiple disabilities as well. And so about 15 months to 2 years, depending on if it's a single skill or multiple skills.
All right. And tell me about the people that you serve, because that's what really is underneath all of this, the people that you serve, a great many that are veterans, and those waiting to be served.
Yes.
Because you really need to do more than you're able to, because the need is so great.
The need is enormous. We receive up to 40 inquiries a day for one of our service dogs. About 80 plus to 90% of our dogs do go to combat veterans, and then some first responders and some civilians. The people that come to us are so broken and so brittle. It just tears your heart out to hear their stories.
We can't quite get there. We just don't know. You have to share with us.
I have seen people that have been homebound, self-isolated for up to 25 years. I've seen people that haven't been out of their own bedroom in 6 months. A lot of the people that we see have had multiple suicide attempts. We are literally their last hope.
The last hope.
They've been through all kinds of medications and therapies and counseling, and it's not enough. So these dogs make an incredible impact.
But it's like, who would have thought that the dog, that Huey and friends, could be the lifesaver for someone? Because that is what you're saying, especially with suicide, having such a high rate of suicide, and in veterans and people that, are seeking you out.
It's the skills that we teach the dogs. They learn to do things that not even a caregiver is able to do.
Okay.
I refer to them fondly as our modern day Rin Tin Tins. Lassie and Rin Tin Tin would be proud.
Okay, give us some examples and share some stories with us.
Oh, the stories are endless. We do a Service Dog Hero Award every year of the dogs that we have trained. And a great story, I had a veteran who was wheelchair bound. He was on oxygen 24/7 and on dialysis in the evening at night. And what he never told us is that his wife actually slept in the other bedroom because the equipment was noisy. So this one particular night, his oxygen malfunctioned. And he went into that twilight state of passing out. It was beyond him being able to call out for help or help himself. The dog could have easily slept there with him the rest of the night, and it would have been a very sad story the next morning. But instead, this particular dog ran, opened the door, woke his wife up, and insisted that she follow. And as soon as she got there, she realized he had already turned blue, he had already stopped breathing. She got the oxygen going, called 911, and he spent a week in the hospital, but he survived.
He survived. So
had she not gone and gotten the wife,
he would not be there.
Exactly. Right. And we have stories like this all the time.
Just multiplied over and over again.
So we train them to do so many different tasks, and they start thinking about how to problem solve as well.
Now, and you were saying their sense of smell, the detection, say if someone needs insulin or has a medical emergency, it's that refined that they can pick up on it.
It's called the olfactory system. It is very sophisticated compared to our sense of smell. And so they can pick up on the tiniest difference in the chemistry of a person. Look at it like this. They can detect a teaspoon of sugar in a body of water the size of 2 Olympic swimming pools.
Oh my gosh.
So just imagine what they can learn about their person that they're with 24/7 when something is off. It kind of defies the imagination, but all I can say is I am so glad for the people that you are helping, because as you said, you're sometimes their last hope. So think of the lives you've saved and changed for the better. That's the best paycheck in the world. I know. I don't need a paycheck. I know, that's why you and everyone does it. You know that you're out there. Those stories are amazing. I know. Everyone. I agree. And we're going to take another short break. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
We're back talking about Guardian Angels medical service dogs. And Carol, now that the dog is trained and everything is pulling together, tell me what it is like for the individual you're serving to be paired with their dog. I mean, there's a whole process that goes on.
There is. So while we're training the dog, we're also working with the potential recipient through the application process. There's a series of orientations until the big day finally comes and they're ready to be paired with their dog. So regardless of where they are in the country, we fly them in, we take care of all their expenses because they otherwise would probably not be able to afford this or the dog that we donate, because these are very expensive dogs at this point. So we bring them in, they spend 10 days with us learning now to bond with their dog and how to ask their dog for the things that they need the dog to do, which the dog's already been trained. So now we're training them.
But you still, they have to get used to each other and get a comfort level going.
And I have to tell you, it's like Christmas morning, opening packages. They're all waiting, and most of them haven't slept for at least 48 hours before they come. They're so
the anticipation.
Yes. And we bring the dogs out one by one to introduce them. And for the dogs, it's like the light bulb just went off in their head, and they
go, this is the one. This is why I've been trained.
Exactly. And the dog lands in their lap and kisses their face, and the veteran, the recipient, they start crying and hugging, and it is just the most amazing moment. And then we do some basic training with them. They go back to their hotel. We want them to go rest because they haven't slept. And then the next morning they come back after having spent the first night with their dog. These dogs start performing their skills within 6 to 12 hours.
Like immediately they bond.
They click.
And then what about the person, the individual, the recipient? Do they spend a certain amount of time too just knowing how to move about with the dog? Because here's people that you said have been housebound, or even getting on a plane could have been quite anxiety.
Oh, tremendously so. And so, yes, our trainers work with them one-on-one. We get them back into public again. We start taking them to restaurants and grocery stores and the things that you and I take for granted. I'll never forget, one of my recipients called 2 weeks after he got his dog, and he says, I have to tell you, we did the most amazing thing today. And I said, what? He said, I went and bought a new pair of shoes, and I went to the music store, and I got a haircut.
All ordinary activities, unless you're the person who can't do them.
Exactly.
Then they're special activities.
Yes.
Amazing. I still don't know all of this. How do you actually make all this work financially?
Well, it is tough because government does not fund anything that we do. Insurance does not pay for it. So it really falls onto the individual donations that people send in, the volunteer hours that we receive. We do fundraisers, corporate sponsorships. We write for some grants. So it's a plethora of things that we have to put together.
A whole balance,
exactly.
Right. And you are all over the country. You have a board of directors with people local and in other places. So there's a whole lot of communication that is going on.
Yes, there is. We have a lot of people. We have about 50,000 volunteer hours a year that are donated to us in different forms and fashions. About 30% of our staff, we do hire veterans, and we have many veterans on our advisory council and so forth.
Yes, I can see that. So it all just makes for so much. And just the way this has come together is really incredible. And I know we're going to be taking a quick break, but I want to talk about foster care because that is another component of what you do. And you have two different programs of that. So before we take our quick break, just tell me, what are the two programs? What are they called?
Well, we have puppy huggers that come out to our facility and spend a couple of hours helping us socialize our babies. And we have pup parents, which are our foster training families. And we give them dogs that are really fully trained, and they just polish their house manners and take them everywhere in public because they're legally allowed to do that. So they spend 8 weeks taking them, getting all the public access hours on them for us, and then they come back and go through the final stages of training.
Just another wonderful part of what you do. Another quick break. Stay with us. We'll be right back. We're back talking about Guardian Angels medical service dogs, and I'm pleased to introduce Rachel Edwin, fundraising coordinator and event planner. And Rachel, it's wonderful to have you join us.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Certainly. And when did you become part of this wonderful organization?
I recently just graduated from UF and I started about 5 months ago.
Well done, because there's a big fundraiser coming up soon, so tell me all about it. I love the name, as a matter of fact.
Yep, it's our event for the love of dogs and chocolate. It's going to be happening at Swamphead Brewery from 5 to 7 on February 11th.
All
and
right.
It's a great way to start off Valentine's Day with our silent auction
Yes.
and our doggy kissing booth.
Oh, okay. First, we'll be eating chocolate. And then if we decide, and it's a Sunday, which I like, very relaxed day, 5 to 7 again. So now, what about when I go up to get a brew, Swamphead Brewer with their local brews? That's part of the donation too, right?
Right. Every Wild Night beer that's purchased during the time of the event, $1 goes back to Guardian Angels.
Excellent. Well done. And then the doggy kissing booth. Tell me about it again. I don't know if Huey will be there, but there'll be some other wonderful kissable dogs.
Yes, absolutely. It's going to be one of our medical service dogs in the booth giving you lots and lots of kisses. It's definitely going to be really fun.
Yes. So this is a good way the whole community can get involved, because we've already said donations are very important to making this work. And wait, how do I get tickets? What's the best way?
You can purchase
Either
tickets.
online?
Yep, online
Okay.
on our website at medicalservicedogs.org/events. And then you
Or-
can always call me or email me, and I'd
Okay.
be more than happy to help you out.
Okay, we'll make that info available. Or I can still just show up on February 11th.
Absolutely.
I can decide I want to be there.
Yep.
And a perfect Valentine gift and a romantic evening out. I'm looking forward to being there. And corporate sponsors mean a lot to this organization, right?
Absolutely. And our corporate sponsors really enjoy our program because they get to sponsor a team. And for that, in return, they get to name a puppy. And then they get quarterly updates all the time on the progress and how the puppy's growing. They get pictures right up until they're paired. And it's very exciting for them to share with their company, their employees, and so forth.
Yeah, another good opportunity for the community. And so, as part of the community, how can we help? We can attend for the love of dogs and chocolate. We can work through a company. And what are other ways?
Well, private donations, of course, and volunteers. You know, we always are looking for more foster families that we talked
Okay,
about.
yes.
And, any type of donation is always welcome.
All right, and just people to spread the word, because the word has gone out so much around the country that you have received national recognition, which I congratulate you on. Carol, tell us.
Well, we were just awarded the 2018 VETI Award for Mental Health, and we were very excited because that covers the entire mental health industry, not just service dogs. And this is an award given by an organization that specializes in help to veterans, and we were very excited to have received this recognition.
That I congratulate all of you, because it really says a lot as you have reached out. I don't know, but quickly, could you give us one more story?
Absolutely. One that comes to mind is one of our first responders, police officer, had been kidnapped, a bag put over his head. He was tortured and beaten. A horrible, horrible, traumatic event. Needless to say, he had to retire from the police force. We paired him with a dog. Time went by, and he was just laying in bed playing with his 2-year-old son one morning, like many of us have done. The little boy tossed the sheet over his daddy's head, and he was in instant flashback.
Right, to that
Immediately,
nightmare.
he was fighting for his life. He
Right.
didn't know his son. He didn't know his surroundings.
He went
didn't
right
know
back to
anything.
that situation.
Absolutely. He pulled the sheet off, ready to defend his life, whatever it took. And immediately, his dog Honor was right there in his face, licking his face, grounding him, going, no, 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 you don't want to do this. I'm right here. Look at me. Look at me. And he stopped. And he
Saved
was okay. And these are one of many, many stories of the amazing things our dogs are capable of doing.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. And thank you, Carol, and everybody that works with Guardian Angels, Medical Service Dogs. And we're just really out of time, Rachel, but what's coming up for the Love of Dogs and Chocolate? When is it?
February 11th from 5 to 7 at Swamphead Brewery.
Okay, and I hope I will see you there. I look forward to it. And I'm so glad that you tuned in, and I hope you'll join us next week. Take care.